So based on what you were just saying, what can we do to be more aware of the subtleties? Because I feel like I know there are signs that are happening constantly, and I just feel like I'm missing them. I must be, because I feel like I need to be patient.
It's about tuning. You can be as patient as you have time to be, but if you've got your tuner set on the wrong station, you're not going to hear what's being broadcast on the station that you want to hear from. And so it's not about patience, it's about tuning. The thing about resistance is, you see, beliefs are active vibrations within you. So as you witness something, and there's an active vibration within you as you watch it, as you talk about it later, there's an active vibration. As you remember it from the past or imagine it in the future, there's an active vibration. And so an active vibration about something that you don't want will hinder the signal about something that you do want. So that's just not good tuning. So the obvious thing is just shut that channel down. In other words, just stop. You got to deactivate those things that are in the way. But the thing that makes that a little tricky is that while you're thinking about what you're not going to think about, you're thinking about it. So when you say, I'm not going to think about that anymore, you're thinking about that right now. And every time you say, I'm not going to think about it, you think about it more until it becomes a stronger and stronger and stronger hindrance to what you do want. So the only way that we know of to deactivate something unwanted is to focus upon something wanted. But law of attraction gets in your way with that, because law of attraction is so busy responding to the vibration that you've already got active that it makes it almost impossible in some cases to think about the other end of that stick, because this is so dominant. So you can't not think about it, because law of attraction just keeps dishing up more, showing you more in your now, both of wanted and unwanted, by the way, showing you more in your now, helping you remember things from the past, gathering it from far and wide, anything that's active within you. Law of attraction saying, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more, here's some more. So the way we would encourage you to deactivate something is by quieting your mind altogether. It helps when you sleep. But the thing about sleeping is when you wake up, you usually pick up where you left off. Even though the momentum subsided, the potential for that active belief is still really great. And so when you awaken, you could wake up and immediately focus on other things. And if you could do that, you could, in time, dominate your vibration with more wanted things. That's doable. It's a little difficult. The easiest way is to quiet your mind altogether. And the way you quiet your mind is by meditating. And by meditating, we mean focusing on something that's not really an active thought. So it requires, or it's helpful, in the beginning especially, to sit in an environment where there's not a lot going on. Quiet room helps. Comfortable clothing, and focus upon something subtle. Like Esther likes to listen for a sound. So if you just listen, just sort of enjoy what your ears can find with that. Or you can breathe, noticing your breathing in and out. Sometimes you can even find a ringing in your own ear or a sound in your own mind. But it's better if it's a steady sound, something that doesn't change and therefore doesn't distract you. And if you will focus there for just a little bit, you'll notice that your body will feel different as your mind sort of winds down, and you don't give your mind an opportunity to pick up on those vibrations that it normally would, because you're focused pointedly on something that isn't interesting but does have your attention. It's not so interesting that it takes you off on tangents, but it's interesting enough because it is something that you can focus upon. It is a thing. In other words, it's a manifestation. It's a sound that is manifesting, but it just doesn't amount to that much. As you focus upon that, you'll quiet your mind. And as you quiet your mind, a really interesting thing happens. Your tuner rises to the frequency of your inner being. It's like the cork, when you hold it under the water, isn't floating, but when you let go, it does. So it's like letting go of that cork, and your vibration begins to rise, which now puts you in sync. You know how a moment ago we were talking about how there is the point of attraction of your inner being, your inner mind, your soul source. And then there's a point of attraction of whatever you've got going on with your habits of thought. Well, when you quiet your own habits of thought, then your inner mind becomes dominant. So now you're right there with your inner being, and your inner being is wise enough not to begin introducing thoughts to you that are going to take you back over here. Your inner being will speak very generally to you at first, because there's no point in talking about that issue that you've got going on, because as soon as your inner being brings it up, you're going to go right back to that lower vibration, because your habit of thought is so practiced there. So it will be more general. It will be more like a feeling of well-being. It's just this place of quiet allowing of yourself to resonate and be bathed by and touched by and integrated with this high frequency of who you really are. And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd meditate every day, and we would orient ourselves to the subtleties of that inner mind, that inner being, until it's so not subtle that you're actually receiving movement, so not subtle that you're actually knowing unequivocally that that's the way you want to go. Your inner being knows when you're agitated about something or when you're open to something. Your inner being knows what your beliefs are about everything that matters to you. Your inner being knows what things you want and what things you really don't believe, and what things you want and what things you're not quite so much in the way of. So your inner being will offer you impulses of thought. And when you receive the thought, you'll think you're thinking it, but you're not thinking it. And you know how you'll notice the difference between whether you're thinking the thought or whether you're receiving the thought from your inner being? When you receive the thought from your inner being, it always feels good. It feels like a good idea. It feels like something that you want to do. It's resistance free. And Esther, at first, when she began receiving these thoughts, she would think, that doesn't seem like a very important thought. It seems like Source would be thinking about more important things. But then she realized that Source is just offering her the thought of least resistance, the thought that she could receive, that she wouldn't immediately begin contradicting with beliefs that are in the way. And so after a while, once you meditate for 15 or 20 minutes every morning so that you've sort of set the tone of that, then what you begin to notice is that you don't have to be in a state of completely quieted mind in order to receive an impulse that's really a good idea.